Daily question for you. Who is the first person that you remember looking up to as a kid? So not like in TV or cartoons or anything like that, but a real life person that you remember thinking, oh, I admire that person. I look up to that person's cool.
So the first person that came to mind when you said that was my brother, Trey. I really looked up to him. I wanted to be like him. I thought he was super capable and I thought he was cool. I don't know if he actually was, but he was to me.
Yeah.
So,
I was wondering if it would be him or a sibling. It's weird being the oldest.
Oh, sure.
And you being the youngest, because I don't know if any of my siblings would feel that way about me.
No,
maybe Jack, maybe Caleb.
I think now they value you as
now
a
that
kid.
I'm worth admiring a little bit.
Yeah. No. But I think now they would. And the other person I thought of was actually my mom. Like I just wanted to be her. I think that's a big reason why I originally went into teaching.
Yeah.
Because I just really admired that. So, yeah.
That's
my mom
great.
and Trey.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think that for me, a lot of my childhood, I just don't have memories of. The first person in real life, I think would actually be Mike Jordahl. Or Brian Carlson, my youth pastor, when I was in middle school. I think that for Mike Jordahl, he was my best friend Peter's dad. And I remember going over to their house when he was on sabbatical from the Navigators. And he had a really disciplined schedule. He would wake up, he'd do quiet time for an hour, he'd like make everybody breakfast. And then he had some routine for reading and resting, and then he'd take a power nap for 20 minutes without setting an alarm. And I think I maybe admired his lifestyle too in that sabbatical season. But the thing that I think I admired the most was he was so disciplined, and I got to see some of that discipline hanging out with him over the summer that we were hanging out. And I could recognize that I was not very disciplined at all. Like that was not a part of me.
Yeah.
But I could see the benefits of having that. And then Brian Carlson, I think he just, he was a great speaker. He knew how to use words. He knew how to communicate himself really effectively. And he had a genuine care for me and for other people that I admired too. So I think those are probably my two.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Today's episode, I'm really excited for because we've been struggling with our dinner conversation section of our show, because I think that we've essentially been doing that as the topic for the show. And today's is such a good example of that. And I really hope that whatever does come out of this episode for anyone other than just you and I and our kids who are listening, that they get to see this kind of conversation modeled and want to have this sort of engagement with the people in their lives. Because I think it's really cool. We're essentially saying, I wish I had your ... And looking at qualities, characteristics of you that I either admire or I envy, not fully envy, but wish I had. But I think also things, as I was putting together my list of things that I'm really grateful that you do have, because they enhance our relationship and our lives significantly.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good point of just like, you fill in the gaps that I have and I fill in the gaps that you do. And it's, I'm grateful.
Same. Yeah. There was a lot of gratitude that I came out of my prep for this episode with.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that this is our topic given what happened yesterday, because my number one thing that I came up with for something I wish I had is your crisis management.
Oh.
And like just crisis control. Just when there's an actual bad thing happening, you're really calm and controlled and confident, and you can make good decisions, and like you're just ready to act. And I say that not like in a scary way. I don't want people listening to be like, oh my gosh, what just happened? Well, what happened is our son threw his Batman figurine into the TV and it cracked the screen. And so we no longer have a TV, and we will not have a TV for the entire summer.
We're choosing to forego it for the summer because we got it in October.
Yeah, we just got this
brand
TV.
New TV. It's such a bummer.
So dumb. It's good for us. We don't need the TV. But what I really admired about you was like, It was really frustrating what
Mhm.
had happened, and it shouldn't have happened. And yet you were calm and collected, and you figured it out, and you, like, I don't know. I think there's times, I think we kind of go back and forth sometimes of where like you're really frustrated and I'm the calm one
Yeah,
in the
totally.
chaos. And I like that there's a balance, because I know that sometimes when I'm the one freaking out,
Yeah.
I know that you won't.
Yeah.
Or most of the time it's that way. Or like, I don't know, I just feel very safe and secure in moments of crisis. And I know that I can call on you and you're not going to make it worse.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just grateful for your crisis
Yeah. I think
management.
we do a good job being teammates of pulling the other person out when they're overwhelmed or too frustrated or not seeing the situation clearly.
Yeah.
The first thing that came to mind was, I wish I had your sense of orientation. I think not only are you really good at figuring out where we park the car or which direction is north, or, where we need to go on a street. Like, you need to go somewhere once in order to remember how to get there again. I need to do it several times in order to have an idea. But it doesn't just end there. I think I also wish I had your orientation morally, spiritually, ethically. I think that I've said this for a long time, you are one of the most integrous persons that I've ever known, where you know what is right and you are completely uncomfortable with doing what is wrong. And you don't ever, I was trying to think of a single moment where I felt like you were trying to figure out what was the right thing to do. And, it's different than like, this is the best decision.
Sure.
Right. But it's the moments where there's a moral, ethical, spiritual decision and there's a right or wrong. I don't think I've ever seen you struggle to figure out which one was the right one. I've seen you struggle with doing it, because sometimes it's hard, and that's super normal. But I think for me, there's times where I don't feel as oriented to what is the actual right. And I think sometimes you take it to a deeper level than I have, where I might say like, yeah, this is fine. And then you're like, is it fine because of this thing? And I'm like, yeah. Right.
I know.
But it's good. It's something that I think complements us in our relationship really well, where I am really comfortable in that gray and you're not opposed to the gray. Right. But I talk to people all the time of gray is not dangerous unless you don't know black and white. And I think you have such a strong sense of black and white that gray is very often a very safe place with you.
I will say, though, I cannot easily navigate Louisiana or any new town.
Oh, sure. So
Like,
it's Colorado-based orientation.
Yeah. I mean, the mountains are really helpful. And I mean, okay, the fact is I can drive anywhere with Google Maps. And then I can return without Google Maps. So I can do that.
Still is impressive to me.
I can do that in Louisiana, but it's the fact that I will never know where I'm going.
Yeah.
I have I just don't.
Yeah.
The next thing that I wish I had of yours, it's kind of twofold. I really love how easily your brain can turn something into poetry. And like the deep way you think. Like, I just think, I don't know, it feels like I'm brainless in comparison, because I just don't go around thinking, apparently. Or like, I'm just such an external processor that I don't understand what it's like to be an internal processor.
Yeah.
But I just so admire the depth at which you think, because when you're processing something in scripture, or when you're just reading a book, or I don't even know, but it just seems far more deep than my shallow little brain. And I'm so grateful that is something that is yours. And I do wish I had that. And I also just think, I don't know, there's you've opened my eyes to, I just think like a different side of masculinity than what I grew up with, where you're just comfortable exploring spaces of art or creativity and just like stuff it's not necessarily feminine.
Yeah.
But it's not like the hyper masculine either. And I don't know, I'm grateful to have you in my life that shows me like, oh no, there's a lot of beauty in poetry and there's like writing and imagination and just stuff that I'm having a hard time putting words to it, but it's just something that I really admire about you because it's just so artistic and it's beautiful and it just makes me view our world differently than my literal self
Very literal
does. So I'm grateful for it. And I wish I had it.
Yeah. The light sparkled off of the dew of the flower. Like
what does that even mean?
Diamonds wouldn't fit on a flower. The petals can't sustain that weight.
You'd have to use like more mathy stuff for me to understand it. Like there's a prism.
Go find some math poets. I'm sure they exist.
Yeah.
We should look them up after this. That would be fun.
Yeah, there's probably some in that love and math book that we have.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
The next one that I have actually bounces off of your literalness a little bit.
Amelia Bedelia. You want to be Amelia Bedelia.
No, I don't want to be Amelia Bedelia. But you have a lot of boldness and directness that I think I use some of the...
You have more restraint?
No, it's not even so much restraint. It's just I find ways to avoid it or to sidestep things or to maneuver around, whereas you are very comfortable going directly for. And I think this is one of the things that especially helps out in our relationship because I'm very much the avoider most of the time, where I'd rather not talk about it, internally process, figure it out myself, and then act like nothing happened. Whereas you don't let things lie and you're not going to let us just wade in the uncomfortable awkwardness of something for longer than is needed. And so you go right after it. I think the whole ideal of if you can accept no as an answer, ask every question is a good example of this too, where you have this boldness to ask for things that others might not because they're inappropriate, but because they don't feel comfortable enough with that kind of request.
Yeah.
They don't feel like they can engage in relationships in that way. And I think that is meaningful because there's a lot of times where people have responded with, oh, yeah, of course. Of course we can. Nobody's asked. That's why we haven't done it.
Yeah.
Right. And I think it all comes down to your boldness.
For those of you listening, we came up with 5 really meaningful ones. And then we're planning on doing like a rapid fire. So you only have to
ones.
Yeah. You only have to sit through 5 of these for us. So we're on number 3. So I said your ability to research and become an expert in whatever. Like when you just decided to become a photographer, like what? It was just, you just did it and you just research and you just like study and you learn from the greats and you just like really dig in. And I think maybe that's part of like the ADHD of the like lock in kind of elements of it. But I just like, if you care about something, you dig in so deeply. So like D&D, you're super knowledgeable about that. Videography, you're super knowledgeable about that. Even just like your masters. And like, I think you are in a way like a lifelong learner, but about like a handful of things.
Yeah.
So like you're going to constantly try to get better at those 3 things.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll probably add some in there too. It's not like you only care about 3 things, but you just go so deeply and you're always trying to get better. And I just admire that about you. And like, I don't know, you just YouTube stuff like crazy. And I like don't know that I've done that for anything that I'm trying to get good at. Like I literally have a passion for nails.
Yeah.
Then I've been doing them since high school. So that's at least 10 plus years. And I have yet to watch a YouTube video about how to do it better.
You should.
I should.
It's really helpful.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I wish I had that.
Yeah.
Like, just
I think it's
the way you lock
weaponized
in.
ADHD and curiosity.
Yeah. So I need that. I need a weaponized
Weaponized ADHD and curiosity. Sure. Yeah. We'll just implant that.
Yeah.
You know, I only do it because I'm not naturally good at things like you are. I think one of the ones on my list is somewhat similar to what you're talking about. I put down your work ethic because you are a very hard worker. oftentimes if I'm researching something, it seems like I'm working really hard, but it's that weaponized ADHD. And then as soon as I get distracted, it's done. I go walk away. I'm not going to do anything. And I have to like sit in that zone. And it's hard for me to work up the motivation to keep going. But for you, you chug along. You are a very hard worker. You are very diligent in what you do. And I think with the work ethic too, something that I admire about you and I wish that I had is your eye for detail. Not only do I see you working really diligently at things and even to the point of like banging your head against a wall for like 3 hours just to get something done in a way that I don't know if I'd do. I'd give up. It would be so easy for me to give up. But I think you have such an eye for detail and such a critical perspective on things where I don't think you've walked into a situation once where you haven't seen how things could be improved. And if you're passionate about it, you usually go after improving it and making it into something that's better than when you found it. And I think our family benefits from that. There's so many things around here that if it was just me or me with somebody similar to me in that way, this house would not look as nice. There would be things that like there'd be holes in walls. And granted, there is one, but you know, it just needs some patching. It's not actually a hole. But I think that you have that level of detail in what you're doing that I admire, because I think sometimes most of the time, I have to force myself to pay attention to the details and then to work up the effort it takes to change things that seem small, even though I know they make a big difference.
Ooh, that's a good one. Okay, so my fourth one, and I especially want this because I could love you better if I had it.
Okay.
I wish I had your ability to easily give words of affirmation. I think, as we can all tell by this conversation, like Trevor's just really good at affirming with his words. And that's your love language.
Yeah.
And it's really hard for me to speak, or oftentimes I just struggle coming up with it quickly, which is what I want. It just takes me a lot more processing time, which isn't a bad thing. No. It just takes more effort than the quality time for me. But I think you are so exceptional at it, and you are so good at loving me and others with your words. Like, I love how you love our kids with your words and your peers and your family. Like, I think if Trevor gives you a word of affirmation, it is like a place of honor. Like, he actually cares about you so deeply that he's willing to speak life into you. Like, it just is a certain level that like you mean a lot to Trevor.
For everybody.
Right. I just, I don't know. It feels very like a place of honor. Like, wow, okay, Trevor loves me a lot if he's willing to put in little effort, because it doesn't take him a lot, because it's easy for you. But put in just enough to say like, hey, this is what I think about you. I think you're really awesome. And this is why I think that. And they're just meaningful. It's not just like, you're beautiful over and over and over again. Yeah. It's very heartfelt and thought out.
Yeah. I like that. I've worked really hard at that. That's been,
I can tell,
a craft that I've worked on for a while. So it feels nice to hear that. My last one on the more serious list that could go on for a lifetime, because that's the whole point of marriage, I think, is I really wish I had your reliability. I think the same way that I looked up to Mike Jordahl for his discipline in his schedule, you have turned my world around as far as discipline and reliability go. And when you aren't in the house, like when you are on the cruise, it is so hard for me to maintain a number of practices that you've established in our home, let alone for me to establish them and then sustain them. You do that one flawlessly. Like, I have the capacity, like you're saying with words of affirmation, I have the capacity for it, but you do it with this level of poise and grace and ease that is very admirable. And I really hope that of all the ones on my list, that's one that I can grow in and have more true of me than just I'm relying on Brie for.
Sure. Yeah. Well, maybe we just need to find more opportunities.
Oh, no. No, that's the opposite of what I'm asking for.
No, but I mean, I think I can see growth in that in you. And yeah, I think thank you.
You're welcome.
And I think that's great. Like, yeah, I think being together, the hope is that with this, I wish I had in being together for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
We become more like the other and are just consistently becoming even more and more one.
Yeah.
And we just, iron sharpens iron. So
it'd be interesting to see if, like, over the years, if people listen to this and then know us separately, like people who know us, if they're like, aren't you that way? And it's like, no, I'm that way because of Brie.
Yeah.
Like I got that from her.
Yeah.
And being in a relationship with her for so long.
I mean, I do feel like, yeah, I think that's true in a lot of aspects already. Because even though I struggle with words of affirmation because of the examples that you've set for me, I do have an easier time coming up with those.
And yours are solid. When you do it, it's really solid.
My last one is something that I can actually work on.
Okay.
It's literally one of my goals.
Okay.
But you just already have it. But I wish I had your knowledge of theology. Like just the learning that you did in DLA and just by going to Moody Bible Institute and just like getting that solid foundation of theology. Like I love how deeply you think. So bringing it back to like number 2 or whatever. Yeah, look at that. I don't know. You just think about it so much more deeply and more artistically and poetically than I do because I read the Bible very literally. And so I'm grateful that you offer that other perspective. I love how deeply you've gone in scripture and how much it's locked in your brain. And I want that. I want that for my life.
I think a lot of that is attributable
to Awana.
Awana was really good for it. It really was. But also the pastor that I had growing up, his name was Matt Hurd. And he was a way better teacher than he was a pastor.
Okay.
It felt like a theology lecture every Sunday instead of a preach.
Okay.
Which in some ways is not great.
Sure.
But I think that really impacted some of how I grew up knowing the Bible. Because somebody would bring up some theological thing. I'm like, yeah, I know about that because I went to church on Sunday. And so I think I benefited a lot from that. And as much as I didn't admire him because I was in a bad place most of the time when he was my pastor, I think I admired his ability to like theologize, do that. Yeah, to be smart in the Bible.
Yeah.
Well, I think eloquency.
But I think like I don't think I could easily get deeper into theology without being surrounded by people who are deep in theology, whether that's authors or actual humans in my life. And so I'm grateful that I have a human in my life that can help me go deeper.
Ditto, because you've done that plenty of times for me. Rapid fire. We prepared 10. I think I have 2 that are almost the same, so we'll see how it goes. We'll just go back and forth, and then if we have to laugh or explain it, we can.
Great.
Okay. My first one is your freckles.
You wish you had those?
I think, yeah. I would love to have freckles. I don't think I'd look good with my complexion, but I think they're great.
I love my freckles. Yeah. I want your butt. You have a much better butt than I do.
As a husband, I'm just going to move on to number 2. Your green eyes.
Ooh.
I love your green eyes. And I think I'd look so hot with green eyes.
Yeah, you would. I said your ability to fall asleep rapidly.
Oh, yeah. My narcolepsy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really want the narcolepsy, but like you can just fall asleep on a plane.
Yes, I
can.
And
I can't.
Nope. I really wish I had your comedic timing because you may not be the fastest with your wit, but I have very rarely seen you with bad comedic timing. It's usually spot on.
Okay. But you have that.
No, not like you do. Mine's fast. And that's what makes it work, because I'm able to come out with it faster than somebody can think.
Yeah.
But with you, there's like the actual timing of a joke or a line that comes through.
That's new. I haven't heard that before. That's cool. I did kind of mention this one already, so sorry. But just passion for your interests. I think you're super passionate.
Mm-hmm. I wish I had your ability to feel like a human being without a shower in the morning.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
I do not.
Yeah, that is a superpower of mine.
Yes.
I do shower. Thank you. I don't need it like Trevor does. I wish I had your thick hair.
Oh, yeah.
Or like maybe half of it.
Yeah.
Not all of it.
Not have very thick hair.
No, but I wish I had that.
I wish I had your reading speed. You read so much faster than I do.
I don't think that's true.
It's for sure true. You can read a book in 2 days. And even if I had the time and I binged it the way you do, maybe I wish I had your binging ability too, because I'll just fall asleep.
I wonder if it's actually not a speed thing, but rather a focus thing.
It could be.
But you have the ADHD lock-in mode.
Yeah, but even if I was to lock in, I do not think I'd be able to read a book as fast as you do.
Sure, but I can stay focused on it for...
Yes, you can. You'll read a book for 2 days, and it's the only thing you're doing other than necessities, and then you're done with it.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, well, I have to add one then, because I didn't think of it until you just said that. I wish I could type like you. Like, I read fast, but you type fast.
Huh.
I'm not. I'm not even good at like not looking at the keyboard.
Did you do Mavis Beacon?
No.
That's probably why.
I mean, I did like maybe a touch of it.
Yeah.
But not enough.
I did Mavis Beacon in the days where mom wouldn't let me do actual video games. And so that was the closest I could get.
Smart. Actually, so I might change that to my other abilities of, I wish I had Becca's ability to type.
Okay, that's fair.
She is so good.
She did way more Mavis Beacon than I did. We would have competitions, and eventually I just stopped competing with her because my numbers never looked as good as hers. My next two are pretty much the same. Okay. It's your speeding discipline and your discipline in general. I just think you just abide by rules better. You don't speed the way I speed. You don't disobey rules the way I disobey rules. And you're just a overall better human being than I am in a lot of ways.
It's the integrity. I can't.
I know.
Not.
It's not. Yeah.
It's really funny. I wish I had your memory.
Oh, interesting.
At least not from your youth, because apparently you don't have any memory from your youth. But ever since pregnancy, my memory's gone. So you have much better memory than me now.
You did have much better memory before pregnancy. Probably worse.
Those kids ruined me.
That's where our daughter gets her memory. She just stole it from you.
Well, I think it's both mine and your mom's that I think has built her memory.
She will never forget song lyrics.
Yeah. So, yeah. Maybe I wish I had our daughter's memory.
There you go.
I'll put her in the other category.
This list seems like it's becoming less and less about me.
Sorry. You just keep bringing up people that are better than all of us.
I wish I had your graciousness towards other people, especially people who come to our door. Because I'm real mean to them, but you're too kind.
We need a blend.
I don't want to be exactly like you, but I could afford to be more like you in that.
Do you actually want that though?
I think I probably need to be more kind and gracious to people that I don't know. I'm pretty quick to judge and determine you're not worth my graciousness. And I don't think that's actually a good approach to take.
No, I don't think.
I think I should be better than that, like you.
Yeah, I think that's a good goal. I said, so it's funny that you said that with graciousness with strangers.
Yeah.
I wish I had your gentleness in parenting. I think you are so much more gentle and kind, or can kind of like compartmentalize what you're actually thinking and forward face the gentleness and kindness that our kids need. And I wish I had that. I think you're really great at that.
Thank you. It's really hard sometimes. I wish I had your handwriting. I think that you have very pretty handwriting.
See, but I love your handwriting because it's yours.
Yeah, but I think yours is much prettier and much more legible. And when you do notes and do it in different colors and stuff, I could try. It would not work. My handwriting might look cool, but it's functionally way worse than yours.
Thank you. And I also think like when I look at cards that I've gotten from family members in the past, it's the very specific handwritings that you can recognize that I don't think mine would fit into. Like if my granddaughter got a card from me, I don't know that she'd be like, that's my grandma's handwriting. But if they got one from you, they'd be like, that is grandpa's handwriting.
Because it sucks.
No.
I think.
But just like your dad's handwriting is so beautiful.
My dad's is really elegant.
It's so beautiful. And even my mom's cursive, really, it's just cursive. That's so beautiful.
Yeah, cursive.
Both of them write in cursive. But
my dad does like textbook cursive.
It's so like good. Script. It's insane. Yeah. He could write a font. But your sister turned her handwriting into a font. Fun fact.
Of course she did.
Yeah.
It's Rebecca.
But I don't know. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I don't know that my grandchildren would think the same. It's very legible. It's very teachery.
It is very teachery. It is excellent handwriting.
Thank you.
Very precise, very technical.
I've changed it letter by letter over the years.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Because like if I saw somebody wrote the letter A in a way that I liked, then I would copy it for a while.
Huh.
And sometimes it stuck and sometimes it didn't. But
I don't know if I could do that.
I kind of wish this.
Kind of. Okay.
I think I wish this.
Because it would be a burden if you had it.
I don't know. I'm still me.
Okay.
I wish I had your palate to try new foods. And enjoy them
too.
But see, I'm still me. So I'm like, I actually don't want that. But like if I had your palate, I would maybe get it. Yeah.
Be super fun. My last one is some people might have thoughts about me after this one. I wish I had your enjoyment of mowing the lawn and shoveling the driveway because I despise both of those things.
I love doing this.
And so it works out in our relationship where maybe I don't, like if I had an option to add some of these, it would definitely not make the short list because I'm good with you doing those things. But again, I feel like I would be a better, more well-rounded human being if I had your enjoyment of doing some of those tasks.
I think a lot of the moms, at least on Instagram, are realizing like, oh, if I'm the one who mows the lawn, then I get an hour to myself.
Yeah, that's fair.
And that's not why I do it. I mean, what I'm so grateful for in those moments is that you're always the caretaker. We're really a good team in that. But like, you're taking care of the kids when I'm doing those tasks, which is it's the role reversal. But yeah, I just love it. It's so satisfying. I don't even listen to anything because I just
weirdo.
I love the silence of the snow, and it's bliss. And I just love creating lines. All of it. It's beautiful. So my last couple are: I wish I had your ability to pull off a capsule wardrobe.
Oh yeah, yeah. You're a woman. I don't think it works as well for women.
Maybe I should try. But
you could.
Nobody notices. And I think that's nuts. I also wish I had your ability to do anything with the kids and like where nothing seems too daunting. Like that's what it at least appears like to the outside. Like you literally go hiking with them.
Yeah.
Alone. And I'm like,
I considered when we were at Shields the other day, buying them a 5-pound bow and taking it out in the woods and letting them learn how to shoot bows and arrows.
I'm grateful you didn't because they're probably not ready for that.
It's only $17 and it was a decent bow. I might still. They've been doing it out the window lately.
That's funny.
So just do the action.
That's funny. Yeah, just stuff I would never do on my own. Like I would do it with you for sure, but I need the support role.
The next section that I thought would be fun too is to look at other people in our lives that we would admire. I think we can just start off because we've mentioned it a couple of times. For as much as you are really good at administration and organization, I wish I had Rebecca's ability for that. Because I think if we're honest, in most ways, she's trumping most people with her ability to be organized and stay on task and be a little beaverish.
Beaver. Yeah.
Yeah.
Spirit animal.
Spirit animal.
I wish I had our daughter's strong legs.
I put her down too. I put her legs down too.
And I put her butt because she has your butt. But yeah, she's just got muscly legs.
Legs.
They're so strong.
Dude.
She's she's basically a gymnast and she's 5.
Yeah.
Like she has like the thighs and they're just beautiful.
And she can do some major damage with her kicks.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
She's a kangaroo.
Yeah. It's wild. That's funny that we put that down the same. Speaking of our kids, I wish I had our kids' lives.
Yeah.
Like,
I want to be them.
Somebody who's going to feed me, bathe me, put me to bed, force me to have a quiet time.
They basically get McDonald's. We don't even eat McDonald's, but like where our parents would have never taken us out to eat.
No.
They get food.
Yeah, like once a week probably between all the caretakers.
Seriously, what a bougie life.
I know. To have somebody say like, hey, we're going to go out in the mountains. I'm going to drive you. I'm going to pack you. I'm going to make sure that I carry everything for you.
I'm going to feed you.
And I'm going to feed you there. And I'm going to make sure that I do some sort of activity to make sure that it's entertaining for you.
Yeah.
Hey, if you fall asleep in the car, I'll just carry you up to your bed.
Man.
Some of these things I wish I had.
I wish I had their life.
It'd be so nice. The sad part is we probably did for the most part. Like we had really good childhoods. We just couldn't enjoy it.
Thank you, parents.
So
you did a great job. Just while we're on our kids, one of the things I wrote down is I wish I had our son's laugh.
Oh yeah, he does have a good laugh.
It's amazing. He has so many different laughs and he so easily offers it.
Yep.
It's so good.
It's very funny. I wish, so this is a different person, but along the idea of parenting and kids, I wish I had Peter Jordahl's dad ability. He is always doing some sort of craft or some sort of project with his girls. They're like writing a book or creating a theater story, or they're doing fairy gardens or ceramics. And they're like, I think the youngest is 5 maybe now. And the oldest is 7. I might be off by a little bit, but they're just like doing some of the most Montessori homeschooling.
Yeah.
And he's also homeschooling them. And I don't know if I have that.
That's crazy. Wow. That's super admirable. I wish that I had my friend Annie's kindness and gentleness. She just has that demeanor that is so welcoming and so sweet. And as you pointed out earlier, I am blunt and
bold was the word I used, not blunt.
Sorry. Bold. And she just is way more gentle. And I really admire that about her.
It's hard for me to picture Annie mad or like grumpy.
Yeah.
Those are hard things to picture.
I mean, they exist. Everybody feels those. Yeah. Yeah. But she just is so welcoming and sweet.
Yeah.
And I admire that.
Similar to what you said about me earlier, I really admire Andrew Arndt's theology and knowledge and his ability to communicate that knowledge effectively to non-theologians. So Andrew Arndt is our pastor, and he has this ability to think so deep, and to communicate those really deep thoughts in approachable ways that I think is very skillful, very hard to do, and not done without intent towards that either. And so that's something I wish I had more of.
Yeah, he's awesome. I wish I had your mom's ability to make everyone feel welcome and seen and loved.
Yep.
Like, I don't know if I've ever had a conversation with her where I didn't feel like I was paid attention to.
Yeah.
You know, because there's times where you have a conversation with somebody and they're like, not even looking at you. But I just feel like your mom's very intentional and very welcoming and very like gathering. And I love watching it in our adulthood of like watching her include, because it just reminds me like, oh, I need to be inclusive and I don't need to be leaving people out, because Jesus doesn't leave people out.
Right. Yeah. Sharon's include. We don't exclude.
Yeah.
And I think she's found a lot of health in that. My next one was Jackson, my brother. I wish I had his entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah.
He is, and sometimes to a fault, Jackson, of being too focused on making money at whatever cost and just trying to find a way to leverage his abilities to make money. But I mean, the kid's in high school still, bought his own Tesla because he had earned enough money for that, but also reasoned through is this a good decision or a bad decision?
Yeah.
Is this a wise use of the money or an unwise use of the money? Should I do this for the business first or this?
Yeah.
I just think the way that he's thinking about it is wild. And I might have some of that and might be a little bit further ahead of him in some business owner things because I've been doing it longer. But I'm also 32 and he's 17.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a difference.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a good one. I think you're going to agree with this one too.
Okay.
I wish I had my dad's ability to fix anything.
Oh my gosh. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He can just do anything.
Yeah. Build a whole freaking house by hand.
Fix anything.
Anything.
It's just electrical, plumbing.
Yeah.
Cooking. Literally. He can just do anything. And I want that.
And I think that comes down to his mentality too. I think he believes that he can fix anything if he desires to or wants to.
Yeah.
Because I think there's I've heard him complain about new cars and being all technology.
Mm-hmm.
He could figure it out, but I think he's choosing that's not worth it.
Yeah.
But if he chose to, I have no doubt that he could.
Yeah.
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 He's
it's just
crazy that way. I wish I had my brother's ability to tie knots. So Caleb has been doing a lot of rigging up in Denver for events. And we were talking about it. And my dyslexia hits me so hard when it comes to tying knots.
Oh.
Over, under, left, right, forward, backward. They're just all orientations that I don't know how to separate. Our 4-year-old knows left and right better than I do.
Wow.
But he's able to do knots one-handed.
That's crazy.
Well, hanging from something and holding, it's just crazy.
That's nuts. My last one, I think this one is so good. And I can do this one. And I will. I wish I had my mom's ability to cook Cajun food. Her red beans and rice and her cornbread, which I've made once and I think I did okay.
Sweet potatoes.
Yeah, just everything.
Mm-hmm.
Every dish that she specializes in, I wish I could do those.
Yeah.
And I can. But there's just that element of love that it'll never taste the same.
Yeah.
I surpassed my dad on biscuits. He taught me that and then I took it to the next level and I own the biscuit recipe now. But my mom, she literally must put love in it because I cannot ever make it taste the same. Okay. So I definitely think the people listening should take this home and talk about it with the people at their table and in their house and their friends. I mean, it's super sweet to be edified in all these ways of I don't even realize some of the things that I had the ability of. Didn't know I had comedic timing. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I think it's helpful to come up with a handful. So even if you do make it a little bit more structured of hey, yes, you can just rapid fire it and come up with stuff, but it might actually mean a little bit more if I could think about doing this with my Bible study. I wish I had Becca's this. I wish I had Kelsey's this or whatever, and come up with something for each of them.
Yeah.
And then edify them in that way. If you do some preparation for it beforehand, I think that can be really meaningful and could be a way of doing words of affirmation.
Yeah.
But I just think it's cool because it's a good envy in a way of I really admire this about you. And I think that it's amazing and I wish I had it.
Yeah.
And so, I would just encourage everybody to talk to your people. Tell them how much you love them through, I wish I had your.
Mm-hmm.
You can also say, I wish I didn't have your, but that would probably go a different, or I wish you had my. Yeah.
That one's even better.
That's real passive aggressive though.
So passive aggressive.
Yeah, maybe just stick to the positive version. Yeah, I wish I had your, because any other version is just gonna be rude.
Well, I'm glad you're on my team, babe. You make me better and you balance me out real nicely. And there aren't too many things that I have on the I wish you had my or I wish you didn't have list, which I think is a win. This is where you would say, I feel the same way. You don't have all the, because otherwise you're leaving me hanging thinking that there's a lot of things you wish I didn't have.
I'm just kidding. No, ditto, for sure. And I'm appreciative for the fact that you are iron sharpening iron.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're in this, we're going to make each other better for the rest of our lives.
Yep.